All right. Good evening. Uh, I'm Joey. This is the Utopian Baseball Universe. This afternoon, I thought it'd be fun to schedule a kind of a roster update show as we start to shape the rosters for the 2022 Utopian Baseball Universe season. So we're going to cover every team tonight and see where we're at. We've got team preview shows coming up in February. Every Friday night in February, the 4th. We'll be doing the West Division. We'll be doing the East on the 11th, the North on the 18th, and the South on the 25th. But we're just here to update where we're at tonight. But before we get started, about 10 minutes after I scheduled the show today, I was made aware that one of our very own members, by the name of Michael Rolli, suddenly passed away very recently. It may have even been this morning. I was made aware on Facebook. Michael's cousin, Megan, posted something, and I obviously I recognized the name right away. Michael joined the group in. It was actually, and I remember this actually very well. So I just want to share the story real quick. Last February, we had a huge influx of new members come in. We went from 83 members to over 400 in about a 3-week span, and then that doubled by the end of March. We were at about 800 members by the end of March, and one of the members that joined, and again I remember this actually very well, Michael Rolli joined on March 27th, which was a Saturday. And why do I remember this so well? Opening day for us last year was March 26th. So we had a lot of things going on that Friday. We were sharing to a bunch of different groups, and I was actually proactively looking for Mets fans and Brewers fans. And Michael found the group, and I remember I don't do it as much now. Or I should say I haven't been in the last couple months. But whenever a new member comes into the group, I try to reach out to them within 24 hours and just thank them. And I remember I did so for Michael Rolli. And what I remember about that interaction was he responded almost immediately, like within minutes, telling me how cool he thought this idea was. And we bonded pretty quickly. And again, this is someone I've never met, but I sent him screenshots of what the group is about. He loved it. Found out he was a big Mets fan. We talked about some of our favorite Mets memories, and so I was really sad when I saw that today. So tonight's show is dedicated to the memory of Michael Rolli, who again, big Mets fan, and I've always considered this group to be my extended family. You guys are family. I mean, it's not always blood, and we're at about 1,200 members now, and Michael was a valued member, and we're going to dedicate tonight's show to Michael. And if you saw earlier today, I posted a commemorative baseball card I made in his honor. We've actually lost 2 members of the group in the last couple weeks. If you know, we posted a couple weeks back Chrissy Taylor, who was a huge Braves fan and a pretty frequent engager in the group. She liked and commented on a lot of the stuff we did. We lost her at the end of December. So again, tonight we dedicate to Michael Rolli, and I want to thank Megan and his cousin Joseph for joining tonight to share in this tribute to Michael Rolli, fellow Mets fan. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to try to keep this, make it fun for Michael tonight, as I'm sure he would have loved to have been a part of this as we start to unravel the rosters for 2022. Real quick, because we have had about 6 or 7 new members in the last couple days. Just to tell you kind of what we're all about, the Utopian Baseball Universe is a fictional league that I simulate from the end of March to the end of October every year. We've done 2 seasons. The way we simulate is you, the universe, help me build rosters that include many great players from history, a lot of our favorites, a lot of today's superstars. We have a 40-man roster for every team. And then the way we simulate games is we you, the universe, will give me one date every day from the past. So let's say someone says, June 1st, 1954. I go into history. I pull all the games from June 1st, 1954, and I use a random number shuffler to take those results and map them into our schedule. And then one game a day, or this year it'd be about 5 games a week. We simulate one game using RBI Baseball and Xbox, presented as a game. And then every night we share those results as if they're actually happening. So no different than a TV show or a movie. We present something that's fiction, but we get lost in it. And as it happens, the last 3 years, the Atlanta Braves have defeated the Cincinnati Reds in the championship both seasons. Season 3 is kicking off March 25th, which is a Friday afternoon. We've got a full schedule that we've posted. And tonight we're going to go over some of the roster additions that we've made, because we're increasing the rosters from 30 to 40 players. Each night, each team will operate with a 24-man roster, and then players will be added to the active roster as needed if someone's not performing well, or if we just want to get someone in there. But we're going to take a look at that tonight real quick and try to have some fun with this. Again, we're thinking about Michael Rolli and his family tonight, as we lost him today. And we're going to dedicate this show to his memory. So because Michael was a big Mets fan and I'm a big Mets fan, we're going to start with the Mets tonight. The Mets were a playoff team in 2020. They struggled a little bit in 2021. But let's look at the core of their roster. Of course, all the favorites and greats are here. So, this Mets team includes a Mike Piazza, Keith Hernandez, David Wright, Darryl Strawberry, Michael Conforto, Tom Seaver, Jacob deGrom. That's kind of the base of the team. And then this year we're going to be adding Duffy Dyer, and his daughter Cammie's a member of this group. Wally Backman, we're going to add Ray Knight. We're going to add Bud Harrelson, Don Clendenin, John Matlack, Tim Keefe, who played in the American Association, and Bobby Ojeda. Now, this year's theme for the biggest influx of new players are actually players from the 19th century. So every team's going to have at least one of those. David Rubin has been a big part of building this roster with me, so there's really not a lot of holes. We need to find one more outfielder, and we'll probably leave that to Megan and Joseph. So if you guys want to help me with that, I'll probably reach out to you in the next month or so. And if there's a player that you want to see added to the Mets, we'll definitely add him in the memory of Michael Rolli. So that's the Mets. And again, this looks like a pretty solid team heading into 2022. For the Yankees, the additions, and again, I'm not going to name every player from every team tonight, just kind of the players that we've added or we're looking to add to, and you guys will have a say in that. We've added Bill Dickey as a third catcher. We've added Jack Chesbro as a potential starting pitcher. We're looking to add a second baseman, a shortstop, a third baseman, a couple outfielders, and maybe another starting pitcher. Of course, the base here: Babe Ruth, DiMaggio, Mantle, Berra. Again, on paper, this is a really good team that should compete in 2022. For the Boston Red Sox, we've added Deacon White. He's going to catch a little, play a little third base. We've added Marty Barrett to the roster. We've added Jackie Bradley Jr., Tony Armas, and Herb Pennock as a starting pitcher. So this team, we could use another shortstop, maybe another outfielder, and maybe another starting pitcher to this Red Sox team. Sal, if you're watching, you're going to have a big hand in the Philadelphia Phillies, basically because you volunteered to do so earlier today. We've added Ed Delahanty. He was one of the first, if not the first, major league players to hit 4 homers in a game. And that's really the only player we've added so far. And again, because we have Sal and a couple other Phillies fans in mind, we'd like to add a third catcher, maybe a first baseman, add a shortstop, maybe a couple more outfielders, a couple pitchers. Basically, we're adding 1 for each position this year, except for 3 outfielders, and we're adding 2 starting pitchers. So, Sal, again, if you're watching, I'd love to get your feedback. And we'll do a lot of this, too, on the team preview shows as well. The Toronto Blue Jays had a big addition this offseason, getting catcher Roger Bresnahan, Hall of Fame catcher. We're looking to add a first baseman, a second baseman, a pair of outfielders, and a pair of starting pitchers to the Blue Jays for 2022. Some of the other additions are players that we featured in 2020, Kelly Gruber, Lloyd Mosby, Alex Gonzalez. These are going to be some of the names that play for the Blue Jays in 2022. Now, the Expos, obviously there's no history for the last 15, 16 years or so, and they have a limited history that only goes back to 1969. So we add current players to the Expos, not at every position, because, again, you've got Gary Carter, Andre Dawson, Vlad Guerrero, Tim Wallach. But we've added 2 players to your roster this offseason. Rube Marquardt is going to get the start on opening day. And we've added John Montgomery Ward, who can play a little second base, pitch a little bit. So that's the 19th century player we've added to Montreal. But I'd like to add some depth at third base for the Expos, maybe shortstop, a couple more outfielders, and maybe another pitcher to this Expos team. The last 2 teams in the East Division are the Orioles and Nationals. The Orioles have added Wee Willie Keeler and are looking to upgrade pitching. So we're going to add a couple pitchers to the Baltimore Orioles, maybe another catcher, maybe a second baseman, and maybe another third baseman to add a little bit of a depth behind Brooks Robinson. And for the Nationals, again, kind of a limited history. We've actually added 4 older players. Some of these are actually 19th century players. Some of them played in the 20th century, but they're getting quite a boost this offseason with the additions of Early Wynn, Pete Browning, Heine Manouche, and Dick McBride is actually going to be the closer for the Nationals to start the 2022 campaign. As far as depth, we'd like to add maybe a second baseman, maybe a shortstop, and maybe another starting pitcher for the Nationals. But this was a team that made the East Division championship series last year against Toronto, and I think they've gotten better going into the 2022 campaign. Let's take a look at the North Division. We've made some additions to the Tigers this offseason. Again, some of these are older players. Harry Heilman at catcher, Huey Jennings at shortstop, looking to add some depth in the outfield and starting pitching as well. Pirates have made a couple splashes in the offseason. 3 players they've signed: Pie Traynor at third base, Paul Wainer in the outfield, and Charlie Buffington at starting pitcher. We don't know at this point if he'll make the rotation to start the season, but the Pirates were a little bit thin at pitcher after Smokey Joe Williams and John Candelaria last year, so I'd imagine Buffington will get a chance to compete in 2022. The White Sox have also added pitching, John Clarkson, and are looking to add a little bit of depth at catcher behind Carlton Fisk, a little bit of depth maybe at third base, and maybe a couple more outfielders. The Cubs have added Gabby Hartnett at catcher and Leon Durham at first base, and a couple older players, Mike King Kelly and Mordecai Three Finger Brown. Cubs are also looking to add maybe another second baseman, maybe another outfielder, and maybe perhaps another starting pitcher. The Milwaukee Brewers, of course, I live north of Milwaukee, so I've been a Brewers fan my whole life. We've added Don Money, Dale Swaim, and Corey Hart, some familiar names for Brewers fans. We've also added 19th century Swiss Army knife, if you will, Hugh Duffy. He can do a lot of things on the ball diamond. He's going to primarily back up in the outfield. But we're looking at a couple pitchers for the Brewers, maybe a third catcher. Minnesota Twins have added, and this was thanks to David Rubin, and this is the guy's real name, shortstop Jack Glasscock is going to be the opening day shortstop for the Twins. They've also added Larry Heisel and a big get at pitcher, Chief Bender. The Cincinnati Reds, who've had a lot of success in the Utopian, have added Jonathan India, the Rookie of the Year, Jesse Winker, and Amos Russi, who was famously traded from the Giants to the Reds for Christy Mathewson. So let's see if it works out better this time around for the Reds, as Amos Russi will compete for a starting pitching rotation spot in 2022. And the Guardians have only added one player, but it's a pretty good get. Shortstop George Davis. Guardians are looking to upgrade outfield, catcher, maybe some starting pitching. They're pretty solid starting pitching 1, 2, 3 with Feller, Page, and Bieber. And we haven't even mentioned 20-game winner Addie Joss. So the Guardians are going to be able to pitch and do some things. Again, this was a playoff team again in 2022. Let's take a look at the West here. The Giants have added Joe McKinney to their starting rotation. Looking to upgrade third base, second base, maybe get a third catcher as well. The Oakland A's have added Cupid Childs. He'll compete at second base. Looking to add some pitching here. All these teams are always looking for pitching here in the Utopian Baseball universe. The Los Angeles Angels have added Fred Clark as a little bit of outfield depth. They're looking to add maybe some depth at catcher, second base, and shortstop. And the Los Angeles Dodgers have added Ramon Martinez, Zach Wheat, and Bill Dalen. Bill Dalen's going to compete at shortstop. Dodgers looking for some depth at first base and third base to add in 2022. Seattle Mariners, Jared Kelenic is going to get the call up to the Utopian in 2022. And the Mariners, for the third straight year, will have a different starting pitcher on opening day. It's going to be Rube Waddell, the Hall of Famer. Mariners looking to upgrade second base, maybe someone to back up Richie Sexson at first, and maybe some more starting pitching. San Diego Padres have a new second baseman for 2022. His name is Bid McPhee, played in the 19th century. Padres looking to add some depth at outfield and starting pitching as well. As you know, the Padres made it to the table, which is our version of the Final Four, and were defeated by the Cincinnati Reds to get to the championship. Colorado Rockies, two big signings in the offseason. Ernie Lombardi is going to be the starting catcher in 2022, and they've added some depth in outfielder Jim O'Rourke. Rockies always looking for a little bit of depth, maybe at the second base position and starting pitching, where it's been a little bit thin the last couple of years. Same goes for the Arizona Diamondbacks, although their 1, 2, 3 are pretty solid with Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and Zach Greinke. They bring back AL Cy Young Award winner Robbie Ray as a part of this Diamondbacks rotation. And they've added catcher Buck Ewing, which is a big get for the Diamondbacks. In the South Division, of course, we do have a South Division in the Utopian Baseball universe. We'll start with our champion Atlanta Braves. They're going to add some youth. A lot of these teams are adding older players. The Atlanta Braves are adding with youth, adding Austin Riley and Dansby Swanson to the roster. They've also added Harry Stovey, and are looking for maybe a third catcher and maybe a second base depth in 2022. The Durham Bulls. What are the Durham Bulls doing in the Utopian Baseball universe? Well, we added the Montreal Expos and the Durham Bulls to give us 32 teams. The Durham Bulls are made up of players that did not make any of the other rosters. They also had the first pick in the inaugural draft that we held. So they have Josh Gibson as their face of their franchise. They've got some Hall of Famers, some great players on this roster. Johnny Mize, Dick Allen, Maury Wills, Carlos Beltran, Monty Irvin, Dwight Evans, Bobby Bonds, Garrett Cole pitches for the Durham Bulls here. Old Hoss Radbourne, Gaylord Perry, Bartolo Colon, Cole Hamels. So this is a competitive team that actually made the South Division Championship Series last year. They're adding. Where do I have it? Did I not add them? Did I not give them? All right. I got to cheat. Do you mind if I cheat? Is it okay if I cheat quick? Take a look at my notes here. Oh, okay. I just didn't add it to the spreadsheet. They added a little bit of outfield depth with a gentleman named Jesse Burkett. And we're going to add Dave Kingman to the Bulls in 2022 as well. But let's get some more pitchers in there. So if you're a fan of this Durham Bulls team and want to see them compete, let's get them some more pitching, maybe another shortstop, maybe another third baseman. Let's look at the Kansas City Royals. Ethan Bryan's going to have a big say in building this roster for 2022. We did add, actually I'm going to add it to the list right here, Kevin Seitzer will be in the Utopian in 2022. We've also added Roger Connor, who was the home run king before Babe Ruth was. And we need some pitching and we need some outfield. So if you're a fan of the Royals, or Ethan, if you're watching, we'll make sure that make this a priority as we head into the 2022 season. St. Louis Cardinals have added pitcher Pud Galvin and are looking for a little bit of depth in the outfield and at catcher and second base. So again, if you're watching, if you're a Cardinals fan, that's what we're looking to add for 2022. We have 4 teams left here. Tampa Bay Rays have added Wander Franco, and Cy Young is actually going to be in the rotation. He's not even going to pitch opening day. That belongs to Hilton Smith, who is our most valuable pitcher for 2021. Cy Young is going to face Satchel Paige on March 26th, 2022, on the second game of the season. So it's going to be exciting. Of course, the Tampa Bay Rays don't have a very long history, so we're looking to add players to pretty much every position here: catcher, outfield, second base. They got a nice base: Evan Longoria, Fred McGriff, Austin Meadows, Randy Arozarena, David Price, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, but looking for a little bit of depth for 2022. Miami Marlins, they added Sadahara O and Jimmy Collins to anchor their infield. So those are 2 pretty big gets. Looking to add maybe a catcher, some outfield depth, and some pitching. Texas Rangers added Dan Brothers and could use some pitching and some outfield. And the Houston Astros have made 2 additions. Billy Hamilton, not the Billy Hamilton we all know, but the Billy Hamilton that stole a bunch of bases like 100 years ago. He's going to play in the outfield in Houston. And they've added Burleigh Grimes to the rotation. So, again, we're going to be adding to these rosters between now and opening day, and we're going to be doing a lot of that on the division preview shows that are going to be kicking off starting on February 4th. So that's what it looks like right now. I just want to end tonight's show with some of the comments that you guys are making in regards to our friend Michael. So, again, I don't have the names here because StreamYard doesn't pull the names without the person giving permission, but let's highlight some of the comments we see tonight. Sorry to hear that. Rest in peace, Michael. Rest in peace. Sending our condolences and all of our love from all of us at Uncensored, praying for his friends and family. Oh, man, I missed the beginning. Thank you for mentioning Michael. Don't worry about missing it. We're going to archive this. This is up on YouTube. This will be up in the group for as long as we're here, so feel free to watch it back. Good night, UBU. We'll watch the rest later. Go Braves. Laura Stone, thank you. He was more like a brother than a cousin to us. Thanks for the prayers. We can sure use them. It was 100% unexpected, and so very sorry for your loss. So everyone here showing their love and appreciation for a member. It's always sad to have to report something like this. But again, we're dedicating tonight, and we'll have Michael and his family in our thoughts and prayers as we head into season 3. So want to send love from Wisconsin to Megan and Joseph, who it sounds like are cousins of Michael, but they almost saw him as like a brother. And Michael is our brother here in the Utopian Baseball universe. Again, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, Michael joined us on Saturday, March 27th last year, and we had a really neat conversation the day he joined about both of us being Mets fans, and he really dug the idea. And I mean, boy, that's who we do this kind of stuff for. We have 1,200 members, and 800 might not even be aware that we're even doing this right now, but it's for the people that really dig what we're doing, that are contributors and have liked the posts, commented, things like that. Michael was definitely one of those. So we're going to miss you, Michael. And again, sending love to your friends and family that loved you as well. The last thing that I ask before we go off the air tonight, if you knew Michael at all, if you have any stories you want to share, any memories, please do that with us here, because we will remember Michael, and we will make sure that his legacy lives on here in the Utopian Baseball universe. So we'll end the show tonight just saying we love you, Michael. We'll miss you, and we'll be thinking of you and your family. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you soon.